It's the spooky, scary skeletons month. The orange pumpkins are outside laughing. And I'm sitting here talking to you about something I find actually terrifying. Digital rights management / digital media / the world we live in where you don't actually own anything, or huge chunks of something that you enjoy can be removed just like that. And today we're talking about a PlayStation franchise that I did not grow up with, so I don't have the nostalgia for LittleBigPlanet that some people do. I didn't actually end up getting a PS3 until after I got a PS4, so I was pretty late to the party, but LittleBigPlanet is pretty much dead as of right now. Now, they did get Sackboy's Big Adventure. That was something. It was not a LittleBigPlanet game, but it was a Sackboy game. But LittleBigPlanet was a really sprawling franchise that had a lot of custom-made content, basically from users where they made user-generated stuff, their own levels. Think of it kind of like Minecraft. Imagine if all of a sudden Minecraft shut down and then all of the item stores shut down. Obviously on PC you'd be able to download mods and skins like that. But imagine that all of a sudden all you had was like that base game and whatever DLC you had purchased over the years, and that was it. There were now no servers, there was now no way to buy anything else for the game. It was just, that's it. A huge portion of that game's, appeal would be gone, right? Well, that's kind of what's happening with LittleBigPlanet, because there have been a lot of things going on here, but essentially this is your last chance to actually get any of the DLC, including costumes, creation kits, like where you can actually make your own levels, and even expansions, like levels that are already pre-made, all the way back to the PS3. Like, we're talking PS3 games, like LittleBigPlanet 1 and 2, we're talking karting, we're talking LittleBigPlanet 3 on the PS4, so it's pretty much everything is going to be gone. And it's really all just because of some hacks, and Sony not wanting to put the money into revamping and fixing these servers because they're old, and I would assume they're not really making them any money anymore, so even though the company prints money, they just don't care. They can afford to spend $200 million on Concord, but not on fixing the LittleBigPlanet servers. They just kind of don't care. So we're going to talk about that for a few minutes today. If you enjoy this video, you want to leave a like, subscribe, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I do have two questions for you, which is essentially, would you ever want a LittleBigPlanet 4 after all of this? And also, did you grow up playing these games? I didn't, but I still respect them. I actually played one a bunch for this video, and I played it a little bit in my free time before. I want to still play them now that they're dead, or whatever you want to say, but I am really disappointed. Now, really quick, let's read two statements that have come directly from LittleBigPlanet's developers when multiple things happen. So first off, the servers were hacked, and this has happened a few times on different versions of LittleBigPlanet, PS3 and PS4. Now, the PS3 ones, was hacking like older LittleBigPlanets. PS4 was hacking LittleBigPlanet 3. What sucks about it is that it, for a while, meant that there was a temporary server shutdown on PS3, and then it kind of came out that everything on PS3 was being shut down. However, the DLC was still purchasable. They had essentially said that we would like to apologize for the extended downtime of the LittleBigPlanet server and want to thank you all for your patience while we worked on this issue. The good news is that we have just launched Game Update 1.27 and brought the LittleBigPlanet server and all 10 million community levels, keep in mind that's a lot, back online for PS4 users. Unfortunately, we need to permanently shut down our online services for LBP 1, 2, 3 on the PS3 and the PS Vita. We have no doubt that this news will come as a big disappointment to a lot of you. Ultimately, this is the best way to protect the LittleBigPlanet community and to help ensure that our online environment remains safe. We're going to talk about why that happened in a minute. But the newest update, which actually came on October 8th, and I know a lot of people have already talked about, is the fact that the DLC is no longer going to be purchasable either, saying that this is your last chance to purchase LittleBigPlanet 3 on the PS4 and LittleBigPlanet DLC from the PS Store. After 10 years of playing, creating, and sharing content in LittleBigPlanet 3, the game and our entire range of LBP I can't speak. DLC will be removed from the PlayStation Store on October 31st, 2024. And this is a really weird move, but they went on to say anyone that currently owns or purchases LBP3 or any LittleBigPlanet DLC before it is delisted for sale will still be able to access their purchased games and content after its removal. This is a friendly heads up that if anyone in the community or newcomers still wish to own a digital copy of LBP3 or any LittleBigPlanet DLC currently available for purchase, this is your last chance to do so. Thank you for your continued support and understanding. Now, I want to say I don't actually direct any of my frustration towards the developers. I know some people do. They're like, well, why wasn't the online infrastructure better? Okay, well, we can ask that same question for Sony. Remember the Sony hack that essentially exposed tons of information, including a lot of people's personal information? And I believe it led to like a lawsuit, and probably more than one lawsuit. But when PlayStation was down for a very long time on the PS3, well, you know, you can ask Sony, why weren't these online services better? It's not just the developers of individual games, it was also the Sony PlayStation Network, especially on the PS3, was extremely vulnerable, and there was no real good reason for it. Now, when it comes down to it, there were also vulnerabilities in the LittleBigPlanet servers, which sucks, but here's the thing, Sony, who, you know, this is their game, right? This is under them, could have paid to actually fix this. They could have paid to revamp these servers, to redo them. You want to know how I know they could have? Because there are actually groups right now working who have made private servers. Groups working right now who have even made private servers where if you want to play it through their private server, you can actually still even get trophies. I looked it up because I was like, well, this sucks because these services have been down for a while, right? Especially LittleBigPlanet 1 and 2. And on LittleBigPlanet 1, the Platinum Trophy required you to upload one of your levels to the network, but that's been down for a long time. So I was looking at that and I was like, oh, is this just unobtainable now? Because that is the case in a lot of different games, actually. You either need to jailbreak your PlayStation 3 and then manually unlock those trophies, or, which I don't think would get you banned. I can't tell you if it would or not. I've seen people do it. Never got them banned from PlayStation Network just because Sony doesn't pay attention to the PS3 anymore. So you'd either have to do that, or you would have to not get that trophy through official means, right? But there have been people who have made private servers and other stuff where trophies still function. That's how I know that Sony could pump money into this and fix it. The problem is that essentially they're not going to. You know, like they're not going to do anything, and this is across all regions and territories. It's pretty much everywhere. This game will probably be preserved by fans. Like, it'll be preserved through emulation in the future. There will be people who rip these content packs and make them available. But from a official standpoint, this is the death of LittleBigPlanet 1 through 3, including karting, including the PlayStation Vita, everything. Like, that era of LittleBigPlanet is dead. Who knows if they will ever do 4, but it's kind of looking less and less like it because Sackboy is kind of a mascot that they've tried to move out of LittleBigPlanet. Like, they even gave him his own game, right? The big adventure game that really didn't have anything to do with LittleBigPlanet. They just kind of tried to transfer him out of that world almost, out of that series. Sony has had a very bad track record with their official first party and even almost second party exclusives with actually wanting to support them long term to make more in the future. Like, where's Jak and Daxter? Where's Resistance? Where's Killzone? Where's Sly Cooper? You know, like, you look at all of these, and there's a lot more, especially, I know everyone in my audience's personal favorite, Haze, the Halo killer. Where's Haze 2? Jokes aside, we know that Sony is fine just abandoning a lot of these franchises for a very, very long time. It's also, by the way, one of the reasons why, Activision games like Spyro, Crash, etc. are now sitting comfortably with Xbox. Now, Xbox is not blameless, by the way, but my point is that Sony does see, things that have historically been exclusive to their machines, whether it's from third-party developers, whether it's from first-party studios, whatever, a lot of times they don't want to throw money at that to get more of it, regardless of who it's coming from. And that's the situation LittleBigPlanet is in, because this got so bad when these hacks happened that I remember the first time it happened, there were people posting like anti-trans messages on the game, which here's the thing, by the way, how do you think that's going to change anything? Like, the whole point was apparently, and this is what I was reading about the motive behind it, that it was someone who was like mad that Sackboy's Big Adventure launched and not LittleBigPlanet 4. And so like they wanted to just post the most offensive things possible they could on PlayStation. At first I was like, is this person protesting like trans people? And that's like their platform is LittleBigPlanet? And I was thinking like, I don't know, this would be like me hacking COD servers and posting pro-life messages. Like, I don't think I'm going to do any, like, that's not like, oh, guys, shut the clinics down. We lost the COD Warzone servers. Somebody just posted a mean message. So when I was reading this, I was kind of just like, I've been playing Silent Hill 2 lately. So I've been delving into the depths of the Emersonian mind, as they would say in Megalopolis. And I was trying to find that motive there. Like, what's going on here? And it really just seems like it was just disenfranchisement with the series. Well, I wonder if they knew that this was going to help kill the series. Like, just straight up, like, I'm mad about Sackboy, so I'm going to hack these servers, and it's like, oh, well, now they're permanently dead. And it's kind of the same with another hack that happened on the PlayStation 4. I don't know the motive behind this. A lot of times people, when they are like black hat hackers or whatever, not white hat hackers who are finding a security vulnerability and then helping a company, when they're more just like malicious though, a lot of times it's just to prove you can, like a dick measuring contest, like to prove, oh, I took this down, or oh, I'm the guy who ruined this for everybody. I don't know why people enjoy that. To me, like, that wouldn't be impressive if you were hacking. To me, impressive if you were hacking would be like, I just exposed government secrets. Like, that would be impressive, right? Now it's like, okay, well, we've got like Edward Snowden level secrets out there. No, it's not that. What it is though is just instead, it's like, I took down LittleBigPlanet. Okay, cool. Like, that just makes everyone think you're a dick, right? Like, that will make everyone hate you. But for some reason, that's usually the motive behind these things. And so Sony has kind of hit this point. I'm not even naming the developer here because I don't really want to, because I feel like people will misplace blame here. Sony is the guys with the big checks. Sony is the guy with the wallets. Sony is the guy here with the funding. They could pump money into this to fix it. There's going to be something, I believe already, there's like 16 million user-generated content levels that were available online, that were available free to download if you had the LittleBigPlanet trilogy, across the games, I should say, that are no longer officially accessible. I'm not sure how many of those have been backed up and preserved through media preservation, like from these groups, which are doing a good job with different, preservation methods, like for private servers and stuff. I'm not going to name them here just because I worry about them getting taken down, but they are out there if you want to look. Regardless, they're doing a good job. It's pathetic to me that they're doing a better job with that than Sony. And Sony is a company that I want to like. I actually do. Because I've been really disenfranchised with like Microsoft Xbox just because of their push for Game Pass and their push away from physical media and stuff like that. And I've wanted to, I know there's no good guy, but I've wanted to like kind of move more of my gaming time over to things like PC, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch. But every time I kind of like get involved, it's like the company who runs that machine, other than PC, because you run that machine, does like some of the dumbest things possible. Nintendo's been going after all these emulators just because they're afraid of competition of their own products. Like they're upset that people can go and make an emulator where Nintendo Switch games run twice as well. And it's like, well, gee, maybe because the Nintendo Switch is underpowered. I like it, but like, come on, maybe that's why. Sony, it's like they're willing to pull the plug on things like this and not preserve them. And then, of course, as well, the whole situation with Marvel's Spider-Man 2, where they allegedly rushed it and have been doing a lot of dumb things like funding Concord for like $200 million. And I'm like, why didn't you take $10 million of that, save the other 190, buy yourself another yacht, and make these servers last a few more years? You know, preserve this media. But they don't care. You know, how many of the $200 million that made Concord, and yes, I'm going to keep going back to that, could have been used to make another Sly Cooper? I guarantee with that money, you could have made a Jak and Daxter, a Sly Cooper, and maybe even like a lower budget Resistance game. All three. I guarantee you could have. It would not have cost $200 million to make those 3 games. But they didn't. You know, like, Sony is spending their money in such weird ways. They're spending their time in such weird ways. And this to me is just kind of, as I always go back to Macho Man Randy Savage would say, the cream of the crop in showing that. It just shows their true colors. Like, the reason that they let this die is not because of some transphobic hacks, as it was labeled, right? With all of these random messages about how trans people are bad. Like, whoa, we really showed them through LittleBigPlanet. It's not because of people hacking the PS4 version of LittleBigPlanet 3, even though with that hack, it was even more personally malicious because it was banning individual PlayStation accounts. Like, it was like not just going after a group of people. It was like, hey, Ronnie, who accessed this server, I'm going to ban his whole account. So I understand that there were real problems here. But those real problems are not the real reason this is going away. The real reason this is going away is because digital preservation of media is not a priority for any of these major companies, except when they can make money through it. And I want people to start realizing that. I don't know why this is so hard for some people to wrap their heads around. There is no money in preserving LittleBigPlanet. Oh, but Jay, what if somebody buys the DLC? Yeah, how many people are doing that now? Not enough to justify Sony fixing it, right? According to them. So it's about money. You know, I guarantee you, if they were making millions of dollars a month off people still downloading LittleBigPlanet 1, 2, and 3 DLC, it wouldn't get delisted. The fact that it's getting delisted is just insane to me. And by the way, if that content is ever brought back for like LittleBigPlanet 4, like let's say they make all those skins available again, then what was the point of delisting it, right? If they were going to do a LittleBigPlanet 4. It just kind of feels to me like they're kind of scrubbing their services of the LBP brand. They're kind of just like, well, this is dead. Pull it off the store, pull it off of everything. Yeah, the discs are out there. We can't do anything about that. But you know what? They can play Sackboy: A Big Adventure if they want more Sackboy. And you might be wondering, well, Jay, why are you so mad? Well, because this is something where I want in the future, even if it's a series like this that I think is fun, but I'm not super passionate about, I want someone to be able to go on and play those official Metal Gear Solid levels on LittleBigPlanet 1, you know, that were purchasable. I want someone to be able to go and play as Sly Cooper on LittleBigPlanet 3 because they want to play this game, you know, that their dad played or something like that. I want people to be able to do that. And finally, I'm really mad because they passed over my personal pitch for a Sackboy adventure, which was Sackboy: Rub Some Sack. They refused to make that game, and they also refused the spin-off Let's Touch Sacks. I'm mad about it, and honestly, this is my way to get back at them. I thought about posting a lot of phobic messages on the servers, but you know what? Somebody else already beat me to it, okay? It's just ridiculous. Like, people's behavior around this is ridiculous. The hacks were ridiculous. I don't think they proved anything. I don't think that they did anything except for ruin a game for a lot of people. And we're now at just the point where it's like, you're not even going to be able to get the official stuff for these games anymore. Unless you do it through private servers, which I'm sure someone will set up the DLC that way, or through emulation in the future, because somebody preserved those content packs. It is becoming more and more on the consumer, on the fan, to do the job that studios used to do, which was make sure that the media they made was not disposable and still usable in the future. This is never okay, and in a closing note, I find it hilarious that people are okay with this with video games. People aren't okay with this with music. They wouldn't be okay with some Taylor Swift or Sabrina Carpenter or AC/DC song from a specific era not being accessible in the future. They'd find that stupid. People would make fun of that and scoff at that. People would laugh at and be annoyed if all of a sudden movies from a certain era were just not viewable anymore because no one cared, right? For some reason, media preservation is cared about in other fields, books, music, movies, paintings. But when it comes to video games, you have a bunch of little know-it-alls who work for these companies and little suck-ups who are in the audience who will say, well, it's online, it can't stay there forever. Like, what do you expect them to do? You expect them to pay money to keep it up forever? I mean, what do you expect here? Buster Brown, it's been up there for 15 years. Like, come on. And it's like, how come back in the day, Bethesda of all people, Bethesda, could print discs where it would be like Fallout 3 and all of its DLC was on the disc? Like, there were people and groups that were preserving their own media through physical media in a way where it couldn't be deleted later or delisted later. But nowadays, there's no money in that. So no one wants to do it. And all these little suck-ups in the audience are always defending it. And I find it pathetic. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. This is unfortunately possibly the death of LittleBigPlanet. It's also possible that in the future there will be a 4 or there will be some kind of remaster, who knows? But right now, for the immediate future, this appears to be killing off a lot of the franchise history, which was already kneecapped and borderline decapitated when like 16 million levels got delisted. Now it's the official stuff too. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts. I'm pissed off. If you want to get this is your last chance, October 31st, 2024, and it's gone. I've been playing through some games over on Degenerate Plays, which is my Let's Play channel. Link is in the description down below. Been having a fun time there. Also, of course, as well, we have our channels like Magical Jill, where we do anime videos. We have JayRPG, where I cover role-playing games, Japanese role-playing games, beautiful women in scantily clad clothing role-playing games like Stellar Blade, of course, and lots of other stuff. And finally, we have our own store, CosmoBunny.shop, where you can use code DJAY123 for 10% off your first purchase of coasters, keychains, trays, and more. These are from repurposed magazines, manga, comic books, all kinds of stuff where the paper was damaged. We saved some of that paper, made something transformative out of it for your home. Cool thing about that is once you buy a coaster, we can't just delist it. I mean, we can go out of stock, but we're not going to come to your house and take it from you and delist it. So, at least not yet. Stay tuned. Have a fantastic day as always, everyone. Stay shway.